We're gonna start with gingerbread cookies. Printed out the recipe. Somebody left a question asking, what are my tips on making friends who aren't just interested in like drinking and partying? But I made such a big deal out of it and I was so upset and so anxious. And it's that anxiety that like pushed me over the edge that like made me cry and made me feel all of these like really intense feelings. Like almost daily, I would have a stomach ache from how bad my anxiety was. I used to be the kind of person that on Black Friday, I would go to the mall and I would just look for deals and I would just buy whatever I wanted looking for a deal, and I would buy stuff just because it's on sale. I think as we grow up and as we go through the different stages in our life, that balance will always change. Like it's never gonna be, this is my perfect formula and now I know what I need and goodbye. You guys, I think I'm already messing up these cookies. Like I don't even know what I'm doing. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Sunday chat video. You guys loved last week's Sunday chat so much and I loved it so much that I was like, you know what? We need to make these a recurring thing and I wanted to do it again this week. So here we are. I hope you will like this one as well. If you missed the last one, I filmed a little sit down video talking about growing up in your 20s. What else did I talk about? I talked about like pre-holiday stuff, holiday feels, growing up, like my thoughts around the holidays and gift buying, a bunch of stuff like that. It was really just like one of my classic chatty heart-to-heart videos. And in uploading that one, I realized that I used to kind of do that all the time and you guys really like them and I really like them. So like, why don't I do them more often? I think the answer to that question is that sometimes I'm totally happy to like sit down on camera and be vulnerable, but after I film it, like in the process between filming and then edit upload, before you guys actually see it, I get this like wave of self-doubt that kind of washes over me and I'm like, no one wants to hear you talk, Zoe. Like no one wants to hear you open up about these things. And then I upload the video and you guys do want to hear me talk and you do want to hear me open up about these things. So then I'm like, right, okay. So I think it's those moments of self-doubt that like stopped me from continuing to do videos like this. So we are gonna nip that in the bud. And I know that for so many of us, again, this is what I said last week, but for so many of us, this time leading up to and around the holidays, especially in the winter, can be really, really difficult and can bring up feelings of loneliness and feelings of anxiety and depression. Like it's a dark time. And as much as things are beautiful and the holidays are lovely, for us in the Northern Hemisphere, it's cold, it's dark, and once again, I just want to reiterate that I want my channel to be a place of comfort. So I think that doing these videos every single week, my plan is to do them every single week leading up to Christmas at the very least. I hope that this will be like just kind of a weekly check-in and a weekly fun little chat for you guys. So today we're gonna do a little twist on it because I want to start doing some baking, not necessarily holiday baking, but a little bit holiday. So we're gonna bake together in the second half of this video. I forgot to tell you guys that I'm currently drinking a chai latte. This is with like a mix that I have at home. It's so good. And just to set the scene for you guys, so I've got my chai latte, like I said. Earlier, I was watching Gossip Girl. I am back on the Gossip Girl train. I think I started this last weekend. And it is so, so good. Like you guys might remember in the vlogs when I started rewatching Gilmore Girls and I was kind of like, Gilmore Girls like isn't my favorite. Gossip Girl is my favorite. This is probably my 5th time rewatching the series. And like, I know that there is so much good TV out there. There is so much good content and so many good shows that I haven't yet watched. But no, I'm gonna watch Gossip Girl again for the 5th time. It's just, I don't know, it's my comfort. I love it. So I was sitting on the couch with Maggie. We have the duvet, of course, just watching Gossip Girl, and life is so, so good. One of the things that I want to talk about in this video is stress versus anxiety and some kind of realizations that I've had lately. I also want to share with you guys my thoughts on Black Friday and all of the shopping that's about to be thrust upon us. And something that I spoke about in the last video was a little bit about like growing up in your 20s, and I got some questions in the comments about making new friends, which I realize is a topic that I think is always on everyone's mind, and everyone can always be very curious about how others approach making friends. So I want to talk about making new friends in your 20s as well. So those are like the 3 sort of big topics for the video. We'll see how long we chat for. Part of the chat is just gonna be while we bake cookies as well. But I wanna start out by giving you guys a little bit of a life update and a little bit of a content update. So realistically, not much has changed from last week to this week. I mean, I still feel that busy but tired. I have been better this week at prioritizing sleep, and I actually haven't been very social at all. I've had a lot of alone time and a lot of me time this week, which has felt really, really good. Just me at home watching Gossip Girl, like being so happy. That's growing up for you. Or maybe that's like, I think part of it too is just me finding my perfect balance, and I think we all have this, between introversion and extroversion. Like pre-pandemic, I was never home. I was like, I'm an extrovert, and like always out. You know, I was single back then, and I was like always dating, always trying to meet new people, making new friends, going out, going clubbing, going to the bars, Saint-Cassette, you know, all of that. I was never home, plus like spin, whatever. Then COVID hit, and I really liked being home, and I think I was so exhausted, and I didn't realize it. I was so exhausted from being out so much that being home felt so good. But the contrast and how good I felt being home led me to believe that I was an introvert. So I was like, oh my God, I'm an introvert, like forget it. Which then led me to stay home too much. And part of that was self-inflicted. Part of that was we had really, really strict lockdowns here in Quebec. And part of that is my dog with separation anxiety. Anyways, fast forward, now I have my part-time job. I'm getting out of the house more, and I really am starting to find that balance. However, I started getting pulled again in that out too much. What? Towards that end of the spectrum, if that makes sense. So this week I found a really good balance. I went to work a couple times, I did a spin class, I had a date night with JS, and I also had some time alone. I think as we grow up and as we go through the different stages in our life, that balance will always change. Like it's never gonna be, this is my perfect formula and now I know what I need and goodbye. Like I think it will always change. And so now in this new life stage, in this post-COVID, which I mean isn't necessarily true, but like, you know, semi-post-COVID world, and especially now as a freelancer, like now I'm finding this balance, and I'm really grateful to just be aware and to be finding this balance. And yeah, I don't know. I actually wasn't planning on talking about that, but there's the word vomit for you. So speaking of freelance stuff, a little work update is that I have been so incredibly busy with work with my copywriting contract. We are working on something so exciting that I'm very, very proud of. So it's almost gonna be a year, you guys, that, well, first it's gonna be a year that I got laid off. Then it's gonna be a year that I made the decision to work for myself, which is crazy. And I got really lucky with my first contract. I'm gonna make a whole video about how I got into copywriting, but the gist of it is that this first contract was solely for the purpose of writing job descriptions. And that's what I did for a couple of months, and that's all I did, and I enjoyed it. But over time, we've developed this relationship, and I guess they've also just seen that they like the kind of work that I do. And now we are working on an end of the year communication for all employees worldwide at this company. Like, this is a big company, and worldwide, employees are going to read the newsletter that I helped write and helped edit. Like, that is insane to me. And like, this is the first time I say it out loud, and I'm just like, wow, like, wow. In 1 year, from a single task to this big project, it's just amazing. And like, obviously I'm not writing it from scratch. Like, I don't know all of the ins and outs of this company. They're sending me a lot of bullet points, and I'm doing a lot of editing, formatting, and just like beefing up their writing so that it sounds fun and inviting and fun for employees to read. So that's my big work project of the moment on the freelance side. It's keeping me quite busy. I think I'm gonna be working on it all weekend, which is fine because I don't know, I just really like the freelance lifestyle where if I want to go for a walk for 2 hours or go run errands in the middle of the day, like that's what I did today. Today's Friday. I went and ran errands in the middle of the day. I'm filming a video in the middle of the day, and I'm gonna work on the weekend, and it all just balances out. That is the lifestyle that I love. Some people love that really structured 9 to 5. They like that to keep them in check. I'm really realizing like, no, for me, it's not it. I would rather work on the weekends, work at nighttime, and have some flexibility during my day to do whatever I want. Like, I love it. So after 3 years of working in consulting and not loving it, sometimes hating it, to figuring out how to be a freelancer because there was such a learning curve and there was so much uncertainty and stress and loneliness, but also excitement and like these thrilling moments, to come to this place where I definitely don't have it on lock, but I have more confidence in myself. And I think that's the main differentiator, is that I feel confident in myself. I'm just like, wow, this is fantastic, especially coming up to the 1 year mark. Like it took me a year to get here. Then on the YouTube front, I don't know what is happening, you guys, but I've started working with a manager and she's really amazing. Deborah, I talk about her all the time, but she's really helped me like lock into like keywords and SEO and my thumbnails and optimizing that stuff. So I don't think anything with my content has changed. Like I'm still me, I'm still doing my thing. But these little tweaks have helped me tap into a new audience, and my channel is growing so fast and I'm so grateful for it. Every day when I look at the amount of comments that I get and the new subscribers that are coming in and the love, that is the most important thing, the love that I'm feeling from you guys, I just can't believe it. And every day or so, there's a new comment saying like, hey, I just found your channel, like I love your videos. Nothing makes me happier than hearing that. And also nothing makes me happier than hearing from the people who've been around forever. Like basically nothing makes me happier than YouTube. And the fact that it's going so well right now is so fulfilling and I'm so thankful. So to all of you watching, you are what give me this amazing feeling and I'm so thankful for you. So I'm sending you a kiss and a hug through the screen. I really, really appreciate you for, you know, being on this journey with me and like allowing me to live my dream life, what's turning out to really feel like a dream. So thank you. Another exciting announcement and a lot of moves, I guess, you know, business moves were made this week relating to YouTube. I have so many cool new sponsorship opportunities that came up with brands that I use and love every day and that I've used and loved for years. That is the coolest thing. What blows my mind about this job is like, you want to pay me to talk about your store that I've been shopping at since elementary school? Like, yeah, let's do it, you know, let's do it. It's amazing. So you guys may have noticed that I've been doing more partnerships with brands, more sponsored videos, and it's really fun, it's really exciting. And once again, I'm really grateful because it's thanks to you all that I get these opportunities. It's just so wonderful and amazing because I only work with brands that I truly love. Like if I'm unsure about a brand, I'll try it first. If I know that it's not something that I would use nor that I would recommend to friends and family, which you guys are to me, I say no. And so to have just to have enough opportunities that I get to pick the ones that like I truly love. Like you guys will see Garage is going to be like a recurring sponsor on my channel. And I can't say it enough. Like I've been shopping there since elementary school and now they want to sponsor my channel. Like, wow, that's just fantastic. So all of these really cool opportunities, and I want you to know that I'm so grateful for you because it kind of feels like I don't want to minimize the amount of work that I've put into this because I have, but it's also thanks to you. If you weren't sitting here watching, you know, it just wouldn't exist. So thank you so much. Can't say it enough. I also know that for so many people, this time of year is so busy at work across all different fields. Like speaking with my friends who work in all different fields and all different industries, seeing you guys in the comments, like everyone is saying this is the busy time of year. So I want to give you guys a little message of strength, okay? Push through this busy time. Obviously don't burn yourself out, be careful, but push through. And I'm just so proud of you. Like I look at my friends and I see you all in the comments and I'm like, wow, my friends are doing amazing things. You guys are doing amazing things. Like we're all working so hard and just building our lives together, and it's fantastic. So stay strong, you guys. If you're feeling like a busy crunch season, like I'm totally feeling it too. Just yeah, stay strong. The light at the end of the tunnel, rest and relaxation is coming. So let's just put in that little bit of extra work before the finish line. There's me being a cheerleader. Go grind at your jobs, guys. Oh my God, okay, I'm talking way more than I expected. Like, I don't know how we're already 15 minutes into this video, but I have a little bit of a content plan for the holidays. You guys inspired me on my last video because I was like, Vlogmas, no Vlogmas, and a lot of people were like, no pressure to do Vlogmas, but we would like more videos from you. So I think I came up with a little strategy, and I would love for you to let me know what you think in the comments. So I want to do 12 days of Vlogmas, but not a video every single day, because I will just burn myself out if I do that. Plus, with the big project for my contract that I talked about, it's just not realistic. So what I'm thinking is to do 12 videos from December 1st to the 24th, which pretty much comes out to a video every other day. So sometimes it might be a daily vlog, sometimes it might be 2 days. I'm not gonna put like every single other day, like I'm not gonna make a promise of this day of the week or at this interval. But I do think I can commit to 12 videos before Christmas, including these Sunday chats. So you'll have a bunch of vlogs plus the Sunday chats. And I think that will be really fun. We can just do like little holiday things. The Montreal Christmas market is getting set up. There's snow on the ground now. I forgot to say that. It's snowing today. It's snowing right now, right out my window. And it's perfection. It's beautiful. And it's also so dark. Like it's almost 2 o'clock, and like you can tell the sun is just going away. So anyways, a lot of holiday content to come. Let me know what you think of those 12 videos before Christmas. I think it's gonna be fun. Now I'm gonna let you guys inside my mind right now. I just rambled for almost 20 minutes, okay? My brain is already telling me, delete this footage. No one wants to hear you talk about your job. No one wants to hear you talk about YouTube. Like, that is what goes on inside my brain sometimes when I do these videos. So be nice to me. No, I'm kidding. But I never know if people want to hear me talk about YouTube or not. Like, I think probably for some people it's really boring, and for other people it's cool. So yeah, I don't know. I would love to hear your feedback about that. But we still have 3 other topics to talk about. So let's talk about those other topics while we bake, shall we? Something that I'm really looking forward to this weekend is I got invited to a board games and brunch at my friend's house, and something that I've always wanted to be is the kind of person who hosts people. I'm just so not. Like, oh, you want me to cook dinner for you? Like, forget it, we're getting takeout, you know? Like, I'm not a domestic princess, as Sarah's Day would say. But I got invited to this brunch and board games, and I just got so excited because it's such a wholesome activity, and like Maggie's gonna come with me. And anytime someone invites me somewhere and they're like, Maggie can come, it's a huge weight off my shoulders and a relief, because when she can't come, I have to find someone to watch her, and it always just stresses me out a little bit. So if you invite me somewhere and you say Maggie can come, it's an instant yes for me. And I just felt so excited. It's been a long time since I've been invited anywhere where it's an immediate yes because Maggie can come, which is crazy and makes me kind of sad to admit it out loud, but that's my life right now. That I got so excited, and I was like, I need to cook something, I need to bake something, I gotta bring something to this brunch. Like, I'm so excited, I wanna show up. So yes, last night, randomly, I started craving gingerbread cookies, and when I first got that feeling from the invitation to the brunch, I wanted to make something with pumpkin. So printed out 2 recipes. So together, we're gonna make one of them to start, because I don't know how it's gonna go. I'm not the best cook. So we're gonna start with gingerbread cookies. Printed out the recipe. And the other recipe that I have that I will make today, I'm just not sure if we're gonna get to it on camera, is pumpkin chocolate chip cookies. So both of these sound amazing. I went to the grocery store earlier today and was just shopping around literally in the morning, and it was dead at the grocery store, and I was just like so content. And then I got in my car and I was like so happy. And this is, again, what growing up looks like, because this is my excitement, is brunch and board games and going to the grocery store and having just my like peaceful me time at the grocery store. That's how you know you're growing up. And I had that thought, I wanted to say it on camera. And the other thing I wanted to say about growing up is let it happen. Just let it happen, because I never decided one day, oh, I'm gonna be happy doing groceries and that's how I know I'm growing up. Or like, oh, I'm 26, therefore I should like doing groceries. I never just decided that, it just kind of happened. Same thing with, like I mentioned in that last video, that feeling while driving and just being so content. Like, I didn't decide, okay, I'm 26, this is how it's gonna happen. I didn't decide, okay, I'm 25, I'm gonna start dating JS, or okay, I'm 24, I'm gonna get a dog. Like, Don't let the number of your age be your marker. Just let things flow naturally, because that's how it's gonna feel good. If you try and force a relationship because you're a certain age and you think it means you need to do that, or if you try and force, if you're already in a relationship and you try and force it into something because, you know, you're 27 and all of your friends are getting engaged, like putting that pressure on yourself and inevitably on others too, I guess, like, you don't have to force yourself into any life stage, like, and the numbers don't need to, your number doesn't have to equal my number. So I just wanted to say that about growing up, because I think when I talked about it, it was comforting for some people. However, I don't want to say it and it's comforting and then you feel like you need to rush to being a certain age to hit that milestone. It will just happen naturally, and I think it happens at a different age for all of us as well. So that's that. Let's go to the kitchen and bake. Alrighty, so we're starting with gingerbread cookies. I've never ever made gingerbread cookies before, but I feel like they're gonna be easy. I just chose the first recipe that came up when I Googled gingerbread. Well, actually it was the third, because the first two were for gingerbread men and it said they took an hour and a half, and no thank you. These are supposed to take 35 minutes and make 24 cookies. So preheat oven to 350. The other cookies bake at 375, so okay, whatever. We're just gonna start with these, and then we'll reuse the oven to save energy. That's how we'll do it. So I have all of the ingredients here in front of me, and I'm just gonna kind of work and we're gonna chat. Would you guys rather look at me or at the stuff? I think you guys will rather look at the stuff because, oh my God. Okay, I think, oh my God, my suspicions are confirmed. So a couple weeks ago, I got a chai latte. I was out and about and I got a chai latte, and my nose became so itchy after I had that latte. I was just like, always like, literally the tip of my nose was itchy. And I was like, I think I'm allergic. I think I'm having an allergic reaction to this chai latte, but like, what the heck? Like, how could that be? And I've just made another one and I can't stop itching my nose. I literally think I'm allergic to something in this chai latte blend. I wonder if that cafe uses the same blend that I have at home and it's that specific blend that I'm allergic to. To be investigated. Here's the problem, you guys. I make a long video. I make a video that's 30 minutes and you guys comment and you say, we love the long videos. So I go, okay, 35 minutes. Oh my God, it's too long, it's too long, it's too long. And you guys say, we love it. So I go, okay, 39 minutes. It's not touching 40, it's 39 minutes. You say, we love it. So I made a vlog once that was 49 minutes. You guys say, we love it. You guys, you can't keep telling me this. I'm gonna give you guys videos that are an hour and a half. You know, if my camera could keep up, my videos would be 2 hours long. So we're already off to a bad start because this recipe calls for an electric mixer, which I don't have. So I'm just gonna have to like mix by hand. Okay, this is not accurate. The measurements like on the side. Oh, I get it. Okay, that's a quarter. No, I don't trust it. I don't trust it. Okay, so while I measure this butter, and I should probably soften it as well, so we'll do that. This is calling for 3/4 of a cup, which is crazy. It's a lot of butter. Gonna microwave that. One cup of granulated sugar. So let's start by talking about my thoughts on Black Friday, because Black Friday is coming up. I am being flooded with like Instagram ads and stuff for all these different companies already doing their Black Friday sale, their pre-Black Friday sale. I just did an ad for Brooklinen, who's having their Black Friday sale. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4 cup. Okay, nailed it. So I thought I would just share with you guys, because I was reflecting on this too, of like, is Good Friday bad? Is it good? Like, what are my thoughts on Black Friday? Because obviously, you know, I like to talk about money and stuff, and shopping and shopping habits, spending habits, all of that. So I thought I would tell you guys a little bit about like my current thoughts on Black Friday and like my own strategy as it comes to Black Friday. I know some people are like, close your ears, close your eyes, like don't even think about shopping on Black Friday. It's just a money grab. And I don't necessarily agree. Like last year, I did a little bit of Black Friday shopping and it was honestly the best thing that I could have done. So last year I shopped Lululemon for Black Friday and I got JS and my sister their Christmas gifts at that time. Oven's ready. You guys, I think I'm already messing up these cookies. Like I don't even know what I'm doing. Because I think I made the butter too hot and now it's just like, oh God. So yeah, I did a little bit of shopping on Black Friday last year. This year, I'm not planning on doing any because there's nothing that I need, but I used to be the kind of person that on Black Friday, I would go to the mall and I would just look for deals and I would just buy whatever I wanted looking for a deal, and I would buy stuff just because it's on sale. And I think that's where these Black Friday and Boxing Days can get toxic, is when they make you shop for things that you totally don't need just under the guise that there's a sale. But if there's something you've had your eye on for a long time, or if there's something that you need to stock up on, like say skincare, then yes, take advantage of the sale. Like it's the perfect time. If you like, example, Lululemon last year, if you're gonna gift people something that is on the pricier side and you know it's gonna go on sale on Black Friday, like don't miss out. That's your chance. So I do think you have to be careful and you can't get sucked into the like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna buy just because it's Black Friday. But for things like, I don't know, like socks, underwear, again, gifts for people. Honestly, I think the Brooklinen deal is really good. Like if you're gonna buy expensive sheets, wait till they go on sale and get them on Black Friday. Like that's perfect. For clothes, like if you need new sweaters for the winter time, like get them on Black Friday. That's kind of my new attitude, but don't go looking for, like look for things you need. Don't go looking for stuff just because it's on sale. My new Black Friday motto. But what do you guys think? What do you think of Black Friday? Let me know in the comments. How many comments are you guys gonna have to leave? If you guys answer every single thing that I ask for in the comments, you're gonna leave so many comments. We are losing daylight fast. We are losing daylight as we speak. So I'm adding 1 egg. Do you guys, can you see this? Maggie just put her paws. Oh my God, you can't see. Maggie just put her paws up on me because she's like, who are you talking to? And I've never cooked with molasses before, but we're gonna add a 1/4 cup of molasses. Oh my God, this is so crazy. It's like so thick and goopy. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. This is old school, you guys. Look at this. So next up, stress versus anxiety. And I'm gonna totally expose myself in a story time for you guys. So this week I've been reflecting and I felt quite stressed this week, but not super anxious. Like I never had any days really where I was just like, oh my gosh, like I'm so anxious, I'm so anxious, I'm so anxious, which used to be like almost every day for me. Like almost daily, I would have a stomach ache from how bad my anxiety was. And lately I've been feeling stressed, but I haven't had all of those physical symptoms that come along with anxiety. Like let's say like I would pick my nails a lot. I would like pick at the skin around my nails. I would like always have to get up and feel very jittery. And so it led me to just starting to think about the difference between stress and anxiety, because I think we can get them confused a lot. And it's like, you can be stressed and anxious, but just because you're stressed doesn't mean you're anxious. And just because you're anxious doesn't mean you're stressed. Like sometimes you're anxious literally for no specific reason. You can't even put a finger on why you're anxious. Sometimes you just wake up with anxiety, you know? So I definitely still have those days, and like, I don't think I've like beat my anxiety, and I'm very careful to not think about anxiety nor depression nor anything mental health related as a beat it, as if there's a cure and as if one day you're just never going to struggle with that. Like, I'm probably going to struggle with this my whole life, but I am grateful that I've reduced the amount of overall anxiety that I've had, and like stress is just a whole different story. But I will take being stressed over being anxious any day because of the physicalities that come with being anxious. All right, we're done with this bowl. Now we need 2.5 cups of flour. So my story time for you guys goes back to last week where I had to work. I had to work at the spin studio, and JS was out of town. And JS usually watches Maggie for me while I go to work. He watches Maggie. And last week he was out of town, so he couldn't. Camilla had to go to the office, and I work very early. So the person either needs to be up super early, which is like not most people, or they need to keep Maggie overnight, which not everyone wants to do. So it's a pretty difficult ask, and it also means that I have to pay the dog sitter. Like if I send her to the dog sitter, I have to pay him for an overnight, which is literally more money than I would make going to work. So I was freaking out last week. I was trying to get rid of my shift. I was texting everyone who could possibly take my shift. I was texting everyone who could possibly watch my dog, and like nothing was working, and I was freaking out. I was sitting at home. I was so anxious. I was crying. Like I was just so overwhelmed with worry and with like stress and like with anxiety. I was so anxious about having someone watch Maggie, when in the end I just brought her to work and everything was fine. But I made such a big deal out of it, and I was so upset and so anxious, and it's that anxiety that like pushed me over the edge, that like made me cry and made me feel all of these like really intense feelings. Then this week, fast forward, the same thing happens where JS is out of town. This week Camilla could have watched her, but you guys, I had so much fun having her at work last week that I brought her again. So what, like, do we see what the mind is capable of doing? Of like last week, crying, so upset, freaking out, to me choosing to bring her the following week. And you could sit back and you could think, oh my gosh, I'm crazy, I'm so overly emotional, and beat yourself up about it. But there's no need. I'm sharing this story so you guys know that Maggie, it's not dinner time. Maggie's like, really, where is she? She is crying for food right now. It's not dinner time. It's not even like nothing. Sorry, you're not getting anything. I keep her food in this cabinet, and she's like waiting by the cabinet hoping for food. So all that to say, we all have our moments, and it's okay. And I would love for you, again, to comment. Do you feel any difference between stress and anxiety? How do you differentiate the two? Let me know. I had to plug you guys in for a little bit, but this is where we're at now. Everything is just in one giant ball, and it's time to make the little balls for the cookies. So the last little topic that I wanted to talk about in this video was making new friends, which, like I said, I got some questions about on the last video. Somebody left a question asking, what are my tips on making friends who aren't just interested in like drinking and partying? And that's a really good question, because I feel like kind of similarly to dating, your go-to is like, oh, well, let's just go grab a drink. Or like, it's so much easier to let loose when you're having drinks. So like you could meet someone, you know, let's say you're like tipsy at the club and you meet someone in the bathroom, like I'm talking friends. You meet a girl in the bathroom and you're like, oh my gosh, like, you know, oh, I love you, love your outfit, this, that, like the typical kind of girls' bathroom stuff. And you're like, oh, I want to be friends with this person. But how can you make friends outside of those environments? And I'm not gonna lie, growing up, making friends becomes harder and harder. And I find keeping friends becomes harder and harder as you grow up, because you just have less and less free time on your hands. When you're in school, like studying is like quality time together. Like studying is kind of like hanging out. You say, oh, we're gonna go study together. We're gonna have coffee and study together. And So it's easier to see your friends more, to feel like you see your friends more because you're always around people and you're in that same life stage. But once you start working, my gosh, I find it so hard to keep up with friends and to make new friends. So the answer that I gave this person in the comments, and it's the same one that I'm gonna share with you all today, is number one, if you are into this, is fitness classes, because this is an element that in a way I find it kind of mimics those drinking environments, because similarly with drinking, you let loose, you're happy, whatever. Same thing with a workout class. Like when the class is done, you've released these endorphins, you're in such a good mood, and I think it can make you in a position to be a little bit friendlier and to be more outgoing and to go up to someone. So literally, you guys, my advice would be join a gym, or I feel like these communities are more close-knit when it's actually a fitness studio. If you can join a spin studio or a Pilates studio or a yoga studio, and people there will be so friendly, and all you have to do is take a couple of classes. If you see someone who's always in the same class with you and like you've shared a smile a couple times, just go up to them. Hey, I really like your jacket, as you're putting on your jackets after class. Hey, I really like your jacket. You know, I see you here all the time. Like, would you want to grab a friendly coffee sometime? You know, I'm new to this city. I'm new to this neighborhood. I'm looking to make new friends. Would you, like, yes, it takes being vulnerable. And some of you guys might be sitting at home cringing at this advice. Like, oh my gosh, I could never. But that's what you got to do. You got to put yourself out there. Another example would be if you frequent the same coffee shop a lot, you might start to see familiar faces. And that's another way, another place where you can go up to someone and be like, hey, I see you here all the time. Like, would you want to grab coffee sometime? Like, I don't think, if someone came up to me, I would be so honored and I would be so happy. So I just try and keep that in mind when I think about like, okay, if I were to go out and make friends, how would I want to be approached? And like, I would love for someone to come up to me after a spin class and be like, love your outfit, like, let's be friends. So that would be my advice. My other advice is I've been making so many new friends at my part-time job. And I mean, I know this advice doesn't necessarily work for everyone, but if you can, get a part-time job. If you're like, let's say you just moved to a new city and you're kind of lonely, you don't really have much to do to fill your time anyways. What if you got a job at a local bookstore? That is the perfect environment to make friends. Or you can do like me, you can go find a job at like a fitness studio. Working is pretty much forced time spent together. So you get to know people, plus you're getting paid. Like, I think that's like a quadruple win situation. So that would be my advice, is getting a part-time job or just thinking about the kind of person that you'd like to make a friend with. So, you know, do you want to make friends with another student? Okay, look at school, look at the coffee shops. Do you want to make friends with another freelancer? You know, is there someone who's always working every Tuesday? They're at this coffee shop and you can strike up a conversation with them. Do you want someone, are you looking for a workout buddy? So strike up a conversation with someone at your next yoga class. Like, just think of the friend that you want and then look for them in those places. And I think honestly, that's the same advice with dating. Like, do you want to date someone who's always at the nightclubs? Well, if you do, then that's fantastic. And if you don't, well, don't go out with the guy who, you know, is always at the nightclubs. I gotta spread these out a little bit. Hello. The last thing I want to say is I think you can manifest friends. Like, I think that is a perfect thing to sort of set, this sounds weird, but like to set a goal and manifest that kind of friend for yourself. Like, if you're like, you know what, I really love spinning, but none of my friends want to go spinning with me. I want to manifest a spinning friend, or I want to manifest, you know, a friend who's obsessed with Instagram like I am, who wants to be a content creator. I want to manifest a friend who is really into reading. Write down the qualities that you're looking for in that friend. Just like, you know, the advice would be to manifest a romantic partner. Write down, what kind of friend? Do you want a friend who listens well? Do you want a friend who, you know, is also not from Montreal? Maybe you want a friend who speaks the same like mother tongue as you. Does anyone actually use that expression, mother tongue? The same language as you. Write all these things down, think about this person, and you will attract them into your life. Like, I really believe you can manifest friends, and you can just like you can manifest a romantic partner. Just like you can manifest anything in your life, you guys. So as you can see, I just rolled all of the cookies in sugar. It's gonna make them so, so cute. We're gonna do it to the other ones. So you guys, that is a wrap on this video. I will show you guys some clips of what these cookies turn out to look like. I think we have chatted enough. So I'll show you these ones, the gingerbread, and then I'll also show you the pumpkin chocolate. I hope they're gonna taste good. I'm gonna be filming a vlog for Patreon this weekend. So Patreon members will know how they turned out. And maybe by next week, I'll still have leftovers, and regular channel viewers will know as well. We shall see. Anyways, you guys, let's end with what we are currently manifesting. I'm still dreaming of a new couch, but I'm also kind of starting to think I might be over it and starting to think I should just appreciate the couch that I have now, which I do, but like, I don't know. So yeah, I would say the couch, and more importantly, I guess that's what it is like, I've realized there's more important things than the couch. I really want to manifest more progress with Maggie's separation anxiety, because ski season is coming up and just like Christmas parties, and I don't know, I really want to make some progress there. So the cookies are in the oven behind me. That was so much fun. I wanted to just end this video with a little note of realness. I had already filmed another outro, and then I realized I was feeling some kind of way, and it was super like in tune with the video, and that is anxiety. So once again, you guys, you can have a whole week where your anxiety is diminished. Doesn't mean it's going away. I think it's because I've been like having too much fun today, and it is still a work day, and there is so much to do and so much on my mind. So I'm just gonna take my advice from earlier and like keep going, stay strong. But yeah, I don't know. I think I wanted to film this video in the daytime because already it's 2:30 and we're losing light. But now I'm like, oh my God, it's Friday, and like I haven't done any like work. So there we have it. Anyway, you guys, I love you so much. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I will see you in my next video, and then next Sunday for another one of these chatty, I was gonna say chatty Q&As, just Sunday chatty videos. Bye.